Ready to roll, Jack in the back on another episode of the Colin Thompson Show. Yes, I'm your host, Colin Thompson. That is my partner in crime, Jack in the back. Thank you to Jack. Thank you to everyone else here at our family at Not For Long Media. We have an awesome team here at Not For Long, and they keep this thing ticking and moving. We have multiple podcasts, platforms, YouTube, TikTok, all these different things, website. You can buy apparel. Again, I can't thank you guys enough, because without you guys, we are not rocking and rolling. As the sun shines in here after a rainy weekend in Carolina, a rainy weekend really across the country. Those in Florida, primarily the West Coast, southern West Coast, are in our thoughts and prayers. Obviously, a horrible storm that hit really all of South Florida, from Key West all the way up to the Tampa area and up through Orlando and up through, really the Carolinas. We didn't get much more than some rain and some wind, but nothing really that significant. But those that lost their homes, those that have lost loved ones, you are in our thoughts and prayers. We'll do something here, some fundraising. We'll figure out what that is, but we'll support a bunch of different things here, Not For Long, and we'll find a way to support the cause of helping those, especially those that lost a lot of things, but again, supporting the first responders that are going down into it. And I wore the Coast Guard, hoodie that I always wear into the game this weekend, to just kind of maybe bring some light to it. And to thank them, the first responders that are going into this. Those first responders live in those towns too, and they lost a lot of things, but they're, putting the community in front of family and all these things. So thank you to you guys. Thank you to, everybody that's going kind of towards the disaster, because I know, how sad and how just tough it is. So thank you. That's all we can say here at Not For Long Media. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And for those that are, ailing, we hope, we pray that good things are on the horizon. Good things are on the horizon. So, Jack, on a lighter note, how was your weekend? Your Eagles won, your Panthers lost, but did you enjoy the Eagles game?
Yeah, it was a great game. Classic rainy weather. I mean, any game that has the elements in it is just fun to watch. It's the element of surprise with the snow, with the rain. The ball could get loose at any moment, no matter how great that person is. Their ball security, anything adds another element to it. So it's really fun to watch these rainy, snowy games. So it was fun to watch in Philly. It was pouring rain. Trevor Lawrence, I think, had like 4 fumbles. The Eagles might have had another 1 or 2 to go along with that as well. So that was good. But it had been raining here all weekend. Had to work a soccer game at the lovely Penn State Abington, but was able to it had to be the warmest parka I've worn in my life. They had one like those like really fancy Nike, like almost like the ones like the quarterbacks have on the sidelines.
Did you take
like,
it, Jack?
I wish I could, but they got inventory on these things. It's like a library book. You got to check it in and check it out. But I was the warmest I'd been in my life. It was incredible. So
you look cool. You were warm.
Exactly. You can't beat it. You can't beat it.
I'm surprised it didn't get feet, Jack. I'm surprised it didn't get feet. I'm surprised you weren't walking out that thing. But you're right. You're right. Listen.
Well, I did get this. This is I got this today. It's like a nice little Nike Tech jacket, like almost like the NBA warm-ups.
Hair out the back, wood lacrosse hat on. You look good, Jack. You look sharp. You look, like you're ready to rock and roll, bud. It's good to see. Good to see. Obviously, a tough loss for us in Carolina this weekend. We'll keep plugging away. We have a good football team. Had to play better, point blank period. And, I've been banged up dealing with some injuries. And the guys are out there battling. I miss playing dearly, but it's just kind of part of the game. But we'll be back this week. We play the Niners, who are playing Monday night, a really good football team. So the NFL, man, it is a challenge, and we'll continue to grind, and we will get better. We have one of my teammates coming on today, former Temple Owl teammate and now Carolina Panther teammate Matt Ioannidis will be joining us. We had Matt on during training camp, and just an awesome guy. A great interview, a fun interview, a laid-back interview. We had some technical difficulties, but Jack and Justin freaking make it sound like there was nothing that went wrong. It is smooth. It is clean. You can watch it on YouTube, guys. You can watch this intro live on YouTube or Twitter if you're watching live right now. Thank you. But also you can, watch all our stuff on YouTube. I think that's what it's kind of something that we do here that's a little bit unique. A lot of people are doing it now, but it's still unique. You can find us all on YouTube. You can find us all on anywhere you watch it, but you can actually watch us interact and talk. A very visual show as much as we can. But Matt's joining us. Matt was a 5th-round pick in 2016 by the Washington Redskins at the time, now Commanders. Flemington, New Jersey, goes to Temple. not a huge recruit, played defensive line, wore a single digit, holds probably records at Temple for a lot of different things, tackle sacks, who knows. But the guy's an absolute stud. He's a beast. He's had like 99 strength ratings on Madden, 6'3", 310, just built out of marble, just a big dude, and become a great friend. And just happy that he's here with us in Carolina. He's awesome. He's had Pro Bowl votes. He's had big games in Washington over the years, playing behind, Payne and Allen there, 2 first-round picks, and Matt was a stud, signed a second contract with them, third contract here with us in Carolina. So Matt's an absolute great leader, great person, great friend, and just had a fun, laid-back interview, just getting to know Matt a little bit personally. He's a father, just a really unique guy. So hope you guys enjoy the Matt Ioannidis interview. You know that. Before we get into it, though, we got to get into all the different segments this week. Jack, who do the Eagles have this week? Your Eagles, who do they play?
I believe they have the Arizona Cardinals this week.
They're
on the road in Arizona, facing off against former teammate Zach Ertz and then Kyler Murray, all that fun guys that you saw this past Sunday. But yeah.
Wow, Doug Peterson, Jason Kelsey hugging it out. Philly media loves that, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, it was very stark contrast. I think also that just being the Super Bowl and having a statue outside helped a lot, but it was miles difference between the chatter between Carson and Doug's returns, especially with how both went out. I mean, Doug went out very unceremoniously amongst the media for trying to keep Press Taylor. The main thing was trying to promote Press Taylor and kind of keep his guys in line with his coordinators. And he got trashed for that by the media when he left Philly. And he came back in as a hero, needed change of scenery, all this sort of stuff. So they changed their tune how they should have. But again, it's very two-sided with that, with how it initially ended.
Once you're under the bus, Jack, you're under it for life. Now, Philly media, I said last week, I was, and even my buddy Mark Fargetta, he got called out in the show in a funny way, of course, more like, he was shocked that people were like, that players said they missed Carson Wentz. I just think that stigma that I just hate that, that stigma of like players don't like him, or he wasn't a team guy, or whatever it was, or he wasn't a good leader, or he wasn't a good player in Philly. Yes, there were some things I'm sure he would want back, and the fans would want back. But the guy was MVP. That's not by mistake. The guy's got it going on. Obviously, he's had some road bumps, but he's still a great player. I still believe that he can do it. But, I'm not in that position, Jack. That's above my pay grade, so I don't need to make those decisions, thankfully. But, yeah. Okay, Arizona, yeah, that's going to be a good game. Arizona's a good football team. Eagles are a good football team, so it's going to be a great game. But my matchup for this week, Jack, I just was scrolling through looking at the matchups at the games. There's a lot going on. The Bengals-Ravens game it's kind of the game, the matchup of the week for me this week. Brought to you by Wealth Advisory Services. If you don't know them, you should. Located in Doylestown, Bucks County. So the Bengals-Ravens game is a matchup for me. I also like Mike McGlinchey for the 49ers versus Brian Burns in our pass rush. Mike McGlinchey's a local product of the Bucks County area. And Mike played at Penn Charter, played for the Bucksmont Saints, and then went on to Notre Dame. So I'm looking forward to seeing Mike this weekend. But against Brian Burns and our pass rush and that Niners offensive line and how they run their scheme versus our defensive line and our defense, which is really good. Again, a matchup made in heaven is when you need help with your finances and you're trying to figure it out, or just some guidance. Really not even help, but just some guidance. We all need it. Wealth Advisory Services, Paul and Dave and their team, over 100 years of experiences. Again, Doylestown, Cape May, New Jersey, Doylestown, Pennsylvania. They have you covered for the local area, and they work with people across the country. WealthAdvisoryServices.com. Check them out on Facebook as well. Awesome little nuggets on there they share. But again, I got off the phone with Paul today talking about the market and talking about what's ahead and what's to come, what has happened in the past to project the future. There's no better matchup than matching yourself up with the proper financial planning, 401k, retirement, working with your business. Tax season, they're huge. Check them out. Like I said, Paul and David, Wealth Advisory Services, the perfect matchup for us here at Not For Long Media and me. They've been working with me for years now. My family, they've been awesome. So my two matchups this week, 3, Wealth Advisory Services and Not For Long Media, Bengals and the Ravens game. I think that's going to be a fantastic game. I know it's more of a broader approach, but I'm not going to sit here and say the Bengals defense versus the Ravens offense, because they both have great offenses. They both have great defenses. They're both playoff type teams, Super Bowl type teams, great atmospheres on the road. All of them have, great home field advantage. That AFC North has awesome home fields. So they're my matchups for this week. I know I sprung it on you late, Jack, but is there anything in your head that you're looking at the slate here and you're saying, I'm looking forward to watching this weekend?
I think the Bengals Ravens, like you said, is pretty much the main one that jumps out to me this week. I mean, that's just such a good game. But I mean, looking at the rest of the slate, Dolphins, Jets, I think that's going to be a good one. Even though everybody kind of has slept on the Jets a little bit, I think it's just divisional matchups. There's always that uncertainty to it. I really think that'll be a good one. Kenny Pickett's NFL first start. I mean, he made his debut this past weekend, but his first actual start in the league will be a great game to watch. And I mean, Raiders, Chiefs. I mean, the Raiders, they're 1-3, but I don't feel like their record really reflects how good of a team they actually are. Get another divisional matchup. But specific player-wise, I really don't have one, but there's definitely a lot of good team matchups this week.
Yeah, it's great games. I'm looking forward to our game versus the Niners. They have an unbelievable offense, unbelievable defense. They do a lot of really fun stuff. So looking forward to the prep for the Niners. Really excited for that. So listen, we got Bus One back. Is back, Jack. And this is a guy that's going to be on Bus One this week, brought to you by Fudge Kitchen, the original Fudge Kitchen. If you don't know him, you should. Again, just like Wealth Advisory Services, if you don't know him, you should. But Fudge Kitchen, the original Fudge Kitchen, fudgekitchens.com, shipping fudge and sweet treats across the country. Love their product. It is the best. Just like this guy that's going to be joining us at Bus One this week, Pat McAfee, the Bus One member this week here at the Colin Thompson Show, brought to you by Not For Long Media. A few months ago, he signed a 4-year, $120 million deal, to work for a gambling site, really, FanDuel. He is absolutely killing it. He has his own personal studio now, custom studio, and he is absolutely crushing it on College Game Day. Absolutely crushing it on College Game Day. Just like I'm going to crush some fudge, brought to you by the original Fudge Kitchen, fudgekitchens.com. When we get that shipped down here, it is coming this week for the boys, Jack. I shipped it easy. Boom. They make it. It sits a little bit. It gets shipped right in the box. USPS, boom, on the way right to your front door. Providing, just like Pat McAfee used to provide, dropping bombs, punting the ball all over NFL stadiums. He's our Bus One member this week for me. I mean, the guy is an absolute stud. And here's why. He has paved the way for people like myself. He has paved the way for people that are different than the mold, have the tie, have the suit, look a certain way, talk like this. Welcome to the game. Here are my thoughts. Play good defense. Don't turn the ball over. Pat's like, no, special teams, throw the ball, do this, do that. Boisterous, fun, brings all these different flavors, just like the original Fudge Kitchen, dozens of flavors of fudge, different flavors and different juice to College Game Day, right? There's probably some people that are going to be shuffled in and out of College Game Day, and he's going to stay because he's a beacon. He is the best that money can buy, and everyone's throwing everything they can at the guy because he is the best in the business. He's the next guy up. That's like safe, that didn't, go to Barstool or didn't go this or didn't do something wrong. Pat has been relatively clear, clean. He's the next guy moving up in this business, and is an absolute just stud and a workhorse. And Pat McAfee, Bus One member. Pat is an absolute stud. Jack, what do you think about Pat McAfee? I mean, he's kind of different. He's changed the media world a little bit. He's added some different flair to it.
I really admire his work ethic. Like it's insane. Like you see College Game Day. His shows, I think, is 3 hours every day. He's got like his own broadcast of College Game Day. He's got WWE he's been doing. I mean, this man is flying.
He has his own broadcast this week too. You're right, Jack. He had his own broadcast of the game. But the thing is, they were too zoomed out. You couldn't see it. Like when you watch the Peyton cast, you could see everybody. He had too many guys. But they'll fix that. That's okay. I'm just a huge fan, right, man? I mean, kills it. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, but yeah, absolutely. He's tremendous. He's somebody I think everybody in this industry aspires to be, but just his energy, his knowledge combined with like humor and just overall, like I said, work ethic is just insane. Yeah. I mean, you can't ask for any better mixture of talent.
He is spicing it up. I think it's getting a little stale, right? Like when Tony Romo came on the scene, everyone was like, whoa, who's this? Which is great. It's awesome because that's how players talk to each other during games. That's how, if you're with someone who plays in the league or played in the league or has knowledge of football, can talk during a game about matchups and different things and what's actually happening instead of just watching the quarterback. That's why we like the matchup segment, right? We brought matchup segment brought to you by Wealth Advisory Services. We talked about Mike McGlinchey versus Brian Burns, like two top 100 type players in the NFL going at it. There's just a lot to unpack really with what's going on. And Pat is like just bringing it. He really is. He's the future. He's the future of this industry, especially for the guys that are, not going to sit here with the tie and the top button. He's going to let it rip, let it fly, big belt buckle kind of guy. He's just done. So, hey, if there's a bus one, there's got to be somebody under the bus, Jack. And Under the Bus is brought to you by Amiche, located in Mooresville, North Carolina, just right outside of Charlotte. It's the best Italian food in the entire area, period. We all like Italian food. Amiche, the best Italian food in the area by far. We go there multiple days a week. We'll be going tomorrow night. They're closed on Mondays, but they're open 6 days a week. We went for brunch this weekend because we had the 4:00 game. So I snuck in with my wife and had a little bite to eat. Unbelievable. They have unique things on the menu, which are from like Utica, New York. Utica greens is my favorite thing. And they just have just a lot of different things. Nick is a character. The ownership is present on property all the time. It's a good family business. I absolutely love it there. The best pancakes in town too. Argue that. They're very good. So Under the Bus, brought to you by Amiche, best Italian food in Charlotte. We're going to throw the great Nick Saban, a man I have the ability. I've been fortunate enough to get recruited by and have a relationship that he does not remember me, but we talked a couple times on the phone. A man that I have praised on here at length, because I think he's the greatest college football coach of all time. He's going to probably be top 3 football coaches of all time. The guy's an absolute machine. I root for Bama. I root for, let me say this. I root for franchises. I wanted Tampa Bay Lightning to win 3 cups in a row. I want Bama to win the title every year. Like, I don't care about parity, because to me, it's like everyone should be competing with them. It makes college football better when they actually win every year. That's my opinion, or at least they're in the final. I don't believe in we get bored with it, because it's like, well, if you're a really football fan, then good football is what they do. So Under the Bus this week, Nick Saban. I did not like, and our group text, Jack, did not like, you sent this to the group, Nick Saban's remarks on CBS Sports. He just pretty much, the lady who was the reporter said, your quarterback went down. Tell me how your team responded. And Nick kind of barked back and said, I don't want to talk about our quarterback. I want to talk about our team. So he kind of ripped another reporter. He kind of has an interesting relationship with the media. He gives a great quote, but sometimes the media rubs him wrong, preconceived, it seems like. He had some issues with Maria Taylor back in the day with the Tua stuff, and who's going to be the starter, who's not, him or Jalen Hurts. So all the quarterback stuff always creates a little controversy to him. I think he wants the team to have a little more love, Jack.
Yeah, I mean, I saw at the end of the day, I feel like I saw a quote. I feel like it makes sense, but it still doesn't excuse how he's acted. It was like he didn't hear all the questions because it's so loud in Tuscaloosa or wherever the game was, where he just heard Bryce Young and automatically assumed it was just about his health and nothing about the actual team or the actual purpose of the question. Still doesn't excuse how he reacted. But I mean, maybe that's why, but still, it was, I didn't like how it played out.
Yeah. Not a good look, but it is what it is. It's a part of it. He probably gets asked the same question all the time. He gets absolutely sick of it. So Amiche, our sponsor for the Under the Bus segment here. Oh man, take me on a bus right now, Jack. Take me to Amiche, right outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, the best place for Italian. They cater, come right to your house, set it up. Like I said, we did a whole catering thing at CMAX, and Nick came out and set up an unbelievable spread for the boys. So Amiche, Mooresville, North Carolina. Under the Bus, Nick Saban. Sorry, buddy. Pour some out. We're pouring some Som Sleep out, Jack. Promo code Colin. Get Som Sleep, the best sleep product on the market. That's promo code Colin, COLIN, the best sleep product on the market. Get Som Sleep. Paul Christ, another guy who recruited me through the recruiting process at Wisconsin. Developed a little bit of a relationship with him. He was the OC at the time, I believe, behind Brent Bielema, who was the head coach. Really sad to see. This is a guy who's had a ton of success at Wisconsin year after year. Jack said it earlier, like 9 wins every year, 8, 10 wins every year, like big bowl games, Rose Bowls, great NFL players, offensive linemen, running backs, quarterbacks. the Watt brothers, right? They've had a lot of really good players come through there, and there's a consistency and there's a standard. Paul Chris gets let go. Buyout is going to be 8 digits.
16 million, I think is what it was.
16 million. So we'll pour some out. We're not going to pour a ton out for you, Paul, but we'll pour some out because you hate to see people get let go. Jeff Collins last week, now Paul Chris this week. Pour Som Sleep out. Again, the best sleep product on the market by far. Saved my career when I was on a slide, not sleeping great. The only way you really recover from anything, soreness, pain, fatigue, back pain, all these things, is really sleep. How do you get sleep? Get in a rhythm, get Som Sleep involved. Check them out, guys. All natural stuff. I absolutely love it. Get Som Sleep, promo code Colin. So, Paul Chris, we're going to pour some out for you, buddy. Best of luck with what's next. He'll have opportunities. This is a guy who's been a head coach at Pitt and went back to Wisconsin, I believe. He's had a ton of success as a coach. There'll be plenty of job opportunities for Paul, and he'll have plenty of money to sit around and think about it with for the next year when he makes his decision. Okay, Jack, bar of the week brought to you by GEEK. A lot of events going on, guys. Punch in that promo code Colin Thompson, COLINTHOMPSON. A lot of events. We got football season, hockey season's coming up. We got preseason hockey on TV. I couldn't believe it. There's just a lot going on.
Preseason basketball tonight. Sixers are on tonight.
Oh, Jesus. Poor Jack. You got NBA teams losing to G League teams. The Suns lost to their G League team. So, not good look. But
it was Australian. It was the NPL. It wasn't. It was 38ers, I think that's what their name is.
The boys were playing from Australia. Yeah. So, for me, there's a lot to do in the fall, right? The sport. Obviously, I'm playing in the fall, so I don't get to enjoy it, but I get to enjoy playing, which is even better. But if you don't, you got to go to a game, right? Punch in that promo code Colin Thompson. Our bar of the week is brought to you by SeatGeek. Pop into a bar of the week, pop into a game, punch that promo code in. We'll get you some money off, a little discount, $20 off your purchase, $50 or more, Jack. I got it right. This week. Okay, we got playoff baseball coming too. Oof. You think Judge is going to break the record, Jack?
I don't know. Everybody's afraid to pitch it to him. I feel like I'm like
he's got another week, right?
What's that?
He's got another couple of games, 5 games probably.
I think so. I'm like the 7th most qualified person to talk about baseball, not for long. I'm like, all of my questions and my opinions are just based off whatever JA tells me about baseball.
He's a smart man. He knows baseball. Breaking Bats, guys. Check out our baseball podcast with Brian O'Grady. Fantastic stuff. Bar of the week this week brought to you by SeatGeek. It's Frenchie's, guys. It is Frenchie's on the beach in Clearwater Beach, Florida. North Clearwater Beach. Absolutely love it up there. Had to shout out the Gulf Coast, the West Coast of Florida for what they went through. Had to talk about a bar out there. Shout out to Brother Wilkes for putting it in my head to do it. And it's good work by you, a loyal listener. And had to go with the bar of the week by SeatGeek. That is Frenchie's. This is a really cool place to go to. It is literally right on the sand. Right on the sand. You walk out of the bar, you're right on the beach. You got the volleyball courts there. The parking lot's right next to it. You can park, walk in, get a bite to eat, get a cold beer, hang out. They're famous for their grouper sandwich. It's going to be the best grouper sandwich you ever had. Awesome ambiance. You can't beat it. It's got a fantastic store. Fantastic score for us here at the Colin Thompson Show. But it's a great place to go, whether you're there on spring break or you want to just go and grab a quick bite to eat and get a great meal, or you just want to hang out and have drinks. The bartenders are fantastic. The people are great. It's a good little mix of maybe some tourists and some locals. It's got everything you want. It's got everything you want more. Frenchie's, the one on the beach, fantastic place. Food and ambiance, 5. I love their meal, and you can't beat looking out and being right on the sand. You literally cannot beat it. You're 100 yards in the water. Can't beat that. So food and ambiance, 5 out of 5. TVs, 3 out of 5. I don't know. I'm not going there to watch the game. They have TVs there. Don't get me wrong. But I'm going there to be at the beach, be in the moment, be in the present. So it's okay. It's a knock, but it's a bad grading service on me. It's more of a bad score. We shouldn't count the TVs, but we have to, Jack. We got to be fair around here. Food and ambiance, 5 out of 5. TV, 3 out of 5. Beers, 4 out of 5. A great score for Frenchie's. And then the service was a 4 out of 5 too. So awesome place, a killer bar that has a killer atmosphere and some great people. And again, anything we can do to help those down there in need in West Florida that are going through, we are thinking about you guys. So, and overall, 16 out of 20, Jack, 16 out of 20 for our bar of the week, brought to you by GEEK, promo code Colin Thompson. When you're going to a game, $20 off your tickets. Frenchies on the beach with a 16 out of 20 score. Guys, that is it for this week. Matt Ioannidis is coming up. We try to be a little bit quicker than normal. Jack's going to get to a big wig meeting here at Not For Long Media that I have him late to. But again, thank you to our team at Not For Long. Thank you for Matt Ioannidis joining us. And thank you for our friends over at Wealth Advisory Services, wealthadvisoryservices.com. If you don't know them, guys, check them out. Amiche, the best Italian food in the Charlotte area. Fudge Kitchen, the original Fudge Kitchen, celebrating over 50 years of family business. FudgeKitchens.com. Som Sleep, promo code Colin to get better sleep, guys. It's what it's all about, man. Nothing better than getting those good Z's. Promo code Colin, get Som Sleep. SeatGeek, promo code Colin Thompson. And then our friends over at Actions Over Words, check them out, guys, where they donate a part of their proceeds to a charity of their choice. Check them out, guys. Actions Over Words, apparel.com. That's Jack. I'm Colin. Enjoy the Matt Ioannidis interview and another awesome week of sports. As Jack said, football just heating up. Golf kind of heating up, cooling down. I just went golf. I don't know why I just said golf. Baseball's heating up. Football's heating up. Basketball's on its way. Hockey's on its way. Golf, yeah. Sometimes
it's always there. Golf is
there. Premier League heating up. So thanks, guys. Enjoy the Matt Ioannidis interview. Yeah, we'll just chop it up. Me and Zylstra, he went over an hour. I don't think we'll go over an hour for this one.
Are you guys looking to do like consecutive shot, or do you take only the best moments from the podcast and produce that?
We go right through, baby.
Okay.
We keep it conversational. Joe Rogan minus the weed, the booze, and the 200 million, whatever you got.
You guys are familiar with that podcast, Call Her Daddy?
Yeah.
And the fallout and everything like that?
Yes.
One of the things that I was really impressed with during that whole thing was like how it turns out the girl, Alex, whatever her name is.
The one who left? Or the one who does
Sophia left, Alex kept it.
She runs the whole thing.
She didn't run the whole thing. She was producing it all herself, and what they would do is they would film like 3 hours of showtime, and then she would chop it into an hour and get only the best material. And so it was a ton of editing for her, but like it made it like, you know, like during the pandemic, my buddy Will was saying, speaking to some of the guys at Barstool, just through his connection there, they were like, well, everyone's at home right now, it's a pandemic, and like everyone's on their phone, everyone's just like absorbing content.
Yeah.
No one's watching like 3-hour podcasts. Everyone just wants like clips. So like Barstool during the pandemic supposedly like shortened all a lot of their content down to like 5 to 15 minute like bits. So like it was more like absorbable.
We'll roll the podcast too into this because Matt and I will just talk and we'll just let it go. We don't need any grand opening or anything. What about your boy though? With Compton.
What about him?
I mean, he's taken off, man. They're the number. They've been like, just in the last like couple months, they've taken off.
Yeah. No, Will. I mean, like from the time that I met Will as like a young player in Washington, like he kind of just had like great energy in the locker room. Like all the guys loved him, and it was like it wasn't early in the podcast game, but it was early as far as like we knew it. Like there really weren't any like pro players like having podcasts, and he was always talking about it, always talking about it. And then he gets into he leaves in free agency, and like okay, he's going to go up to Buffalo. That falls through. He ends up in Tennessee, and links up with Taylor, and like those two just clicked immediately, and they like within a year I feel like they were running that podcast. And then like from the jump, they were probably really smart in the way like they leveraged their position as like athletes to get really good guests right from the jump. And like that from there, like they just took off. He was showing me the numbers one time on like when they had Portnoy on their show, and it was just unbelievable.
Astronomical, yeah. The Barstool, you know, and again, like it's no secret, like everyone's now trying to mimic it, or at least do a show. But that's where I'm like, okay, what's different? That's why we're doing Not For Long Media. It's all changed from podcasts. Like it used to be Not For Long Podcast. Now we're Not For Long Media because you need hubs. You need places where like you're just creating content, followers are coming. It's short form, it's long form, it's video form. Before it was all, I would press the speaker phone on my phone, put it next to the mic, they would talk, and then I would do it. That's how I started doing it. And it's all because of Al Scoop, John DeCarlo.
Oh, back at Temple.
Yeah, because I was going back and forth. I was doing color commentary at Temple. I was working out there when I was trying to get back into the league. And he's like, hey, you're doing color commentary, you're working out here, do you want to come by for a podcast? And he would put the phone down underneath of the Yeti mic they had.
What year was this?
Jeff Collins' first year, so 17.
17. We graduated in 15.
Correct. Matt
you
left.
You went back for 16 season.
Yep. Matt left and got paid a bunch of money by the Redskins at the time, now Commanders.
And, hadn't even extended at that point. But so then
I know, I'm just kidding. I'm just saying a bunch of money. Draft pick, what round you going?
5th.
That's big time. That's big time. It's a little bit, it's bigger. I mean, now they're all set up with the CBA. It's different. What were some of the perks then, like for you as a draft pick compared to now? Did people lose some? Has it changed the CBA? I know it's changed, but I'm saying, has it changed for later round picks?
Well, I know that like they've raised the minimum for rookies, but I think they stayed on track with what like the projected. Like I was picked 152, for example. From what I can understand, whoever was picked 152 this past year, like it's just continued to climb.
It's going to be $1 million, base salary $1 million for a rookie in 2030. It's not that far away.
No.
I'll be out of the league by then, and Matt will be too.
Yeah, I'll be long gone.
I think that
Tom Brady will still be playing.
Correct. Tom will be 54, and he'll be playing for, who's he going to be playing for? Carolina Panthers, maybe?
Never know.
I can't be. Now we're going to get in trouble here for that. I have no idea what's going on. This is a conspiracy theory. We're talking 10 years from now, Tom Brady will be retired. I can guarantee you that. Can I make the guarantee here on Not For Long Media that Tom's going to be retired in 10 years?
I mean, I wouldn't, but you can.
The old takes exposed of when, like, people are on there, like on First Take or on these shows on ESPN or whatever it is, of them complaining that Tom Brady's done when he was like 30 are hysterical. Like he reached his prime, his career's over.
When was this?
Have you seen these? They're like, you'd be like, and I don't blame him. Like it's like he had a bad game or a bad couple games back in like say 2005, 2000, not even, like say 2010. We're in high school.
Yeah.
And Skip Bayless be like, Tom Brady's done. He's done. 3 Super Bowls. He's.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, like I've come to understand, or at least I think I do. Like a lot of it is just like throwing out hot takes and just trying to get sound bites and
no doubt
stay visible.
So what passions you got going on now? Because I know you got, you have a family, you have a little boy. Mm-hmm. I moved to Annapolis, Maryland, and you live in Harrisburg area. So when you're flying out of Baltimore, I see you, you're like, hey man, I'm pimping out this van. I know that's one of your hobbies. Tell me about this van you're pimping out.
So my little brother bought a van. And he's been like,
is it down by the river or is it?
No. It's no. So basically, I mean, it's been, I guess during like COVID it exploded because everyone's at home, everyone's got all this free time, you can't go anywhere. What better than like the life of isolation, living in a van? So, I bought this van, got this idea from my brother. He bought this van. It's an 03 Econoline. I stripped it out as much as I could, cleaned it up. You start insulating it, you start, dry wiring for like electrical, stuff like that. And the plan is basically to turn it into like a camper / like a hunting van. So basically like if I ever go Texas or like out west, like big country hunting, like you don't have to sleep like in a tent or whatever. Like, I don't know if that's going to actually work out just because of the way like the van's pretty old and it doesn't have four-wheel drive. I don't know if it can do like the off-road, but people sometimes like if you get the
soup it up.
Yeah, if you can soup it up and get it off-road, like you can take those things anywhere, and then it's just like it makes hunting those big games, like those big hunts, like easier.
Yeah, it's like a hotel on wheels.
Yeah, you don't have to survive the elements.
Another random question from me, and then Jay's up here, probably back to your regular schedule programming of why we're here, because for football. And you can go off the cuff too, Jay. I'm just off the cuff questions as normal, as you know. Hunting this off season, talk about where you went, what you do, what you shot, etc. The whole process, the planning, post hunt, the whole thing. Sure.
We a couple of buddies of mine, we go down to South Texas, fly in San Antonio. We hunt a ranch down there. We hunt these really cool animals called Nilgai. Pretty sure they're like. It was
on Meat Eater. I saw it on Meat Eater.
Yep. Pretty sure I think they're from India, and they were brought over here to be domesticated and raised like cattle. But they're too wild. They couldn't domesticate them. What happens is if you build a fence, they actually will go under the fence. So when you're down there, you'll see like 2x2 holes in the fence where they'll actually like dig underneath. So now like the terrain down there is just perfect for their like species to thrive, and so they're really hard to hunt, but they eat really good, which is why they brought them over there. And so that's always like the prize hunt down there when we go.
Yeah,
But
I saw it on me there. One more from me, J.A. How'd you get into hunting? Where do you like to hunt the most? Some experience you've had hunting?
I've gotten into hunting in the league through some guys I played with in Washington, and I've done most of my hunting on that trip with those guys down in South Texas. Predominantly deer, hog, and nilgai. But hopefully when I'm done playing, Van down by the river's completed, I want to go out west and like shoot elk. I'd love to do like all that big game hunting out there.
Love it. Love
Yeah.
it.
So, I mean, I'm a DC guy. So, I mean, I was a fan of yours when you were back on the Redskins. Is there just like a couple memories that stand out from your time there? And then I have to go back and ask about the boy, Will Compton. Is there like a Will Compton, like maybe like a locker room story, or what's like the funniest thing you can remember from comp?
Specific stories that, on the spot here, I don't know, but I was a young player when I got into obviously I was a young player, but when I got into the league, they were already cutting their teeth in this league and making a name for themselves. And I was a young player, and I was kind of just still in that like starstruck phase where like there's all these veterans around you, all these star players, and
You don't talk as much.
yeah, you
Kinda
just kind of
sit back.
you're a little intimidated, like
You don't want to screw it up.
yeah, everyone like there's already like tight groups of guys on the team, and so like Will was one of the guys that kind of like took me under his wing, so to speak, and no, it was awesome. Like he would like I said, Will has great energy. Like everyone gravitates towards Will. Like he would have this camp every year in Missouri that he'd put on in his town, and that was one of the things that was always like fun to look forward to. Is Will would fly a bunch of us out there. We'd work this camp, like help the spend some time with the kids in that area, and then he would donate all the proceeds for it. So that was always a really fun trip. You got to see like where Will's from, and like he's from a town called Bonne Terre, which is actually built over this. It's built over a coal mine, an abandoned coal mine now. So the running joke when we would go out there is always like, this town's going to collapse like at any moment.
I feel like Will's the guy too. Like, you guys got to come to this bar, man. I feel like you went to the same bar that he went to when he turned 21. Is that fact or fiction?
I don't know that either. We went to the. I think there's one bar in Willstown, and he's from a really small town.
That's
so
what I'm
like,
saying though. Like, this is the bar. Like, and it could be nothing. I just
No, it was called Hub's Pub. It was a great bar. It had great vibes, great energy in that bar. But what Will would do every year, or for a couple of years, is he would throw a New Year's Day party, New Year's Eve party. So like, this is still back during the 16 games. You'd wrap up the final game of the year, and then Will would have a little party at his house, and that was always a lot of fun. Like all the guys would come over. You'd get one last hurrah before we all broke and went our separate ways in the off season.
Yeah, that's always like an interesting time when you break separate ways. It's such a long season, but it goes so fast. What's a favorite season for you in Washington? You've had some great ones. Obviously, you got extended. You've been up for Pro Bowl votes. Like, what's been a great year for you in Washington? You look back, or some moments like Justin Assett that you look back fondly on.
Those young years were really impactful for me. Probably starting my second year through my fourth. It was. We had a good group of guys. We had a good D-line group. I mean, I certainly had a great D-line group towards the end too. But as a younger player, those probably just were more impactful for me. Getting to play alongside Kerrigan, who just retired, and me and John John Allen and I are good buds, and we were both rolling back in the day there. John just finished a monster year, but no, it was just fun. Those were just fun times. The D-line coach we had at the time, Jim Tomsula, loved that guy. That's the kind of guy like you want to run through a brick wall for. Yeah, I would say probably 18 or 19. Those are some of the best years, and 19 was tough too. I mean, tough year all around in a bunch of different categories. We don't have to get into it, but just like the D-line was so sheltered from from all the problems and the chaos and stuff like that. We were such a tight group, and like nothing, like the issues didn't penetrate that room.
Yeah, that's a good room, and that's testament probably to your coach too. Like,
Yeah.
we're going to control what we control, and that's
Exactly.
and that's how it is in every room, really. But when things are good, you're vibing, and and it's more of a team thing. But when things are bad, you kind of hunker around your group, make sure your guys are good, and if everybody does that, you kind of pull in the same direction.
Yeah, and like we didn't have a great year that year, and we were on the roller coaster for sure. But one of the things like I'm really proud of looking back of like everybody in that room is like we went out every week, and we were just unfazed by the circumstances. We were just like, we're gonna win, we're gonna whoop ass, like, and it's tough to do that. And at the time, I didn't even realize it was tough. But like you said, like testament to Tom Sula, he kept our heads like very focused. We almost didn't really realize how bad we were because in our room he was just like, hey, this is what it is, like let's go get it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What do you got, Jay?
No, like the leadership role, especially in a tight knit like group like the D line rooms are in DC and Carolina. Like, who are some of the people that kind of like you looked up to when you're in DC, and then here in Carolina, it's kind of obviously a younger group. Is leadership role, is that something that you embrace?
I haven't really had the opportunity to embrace a leadership role myself in the league because from the time John got into Washington as a rookie, like you kind of knew like, okay, this guy's got a presence about him. He's gonna be the leader, and that was all good and well. And so some of the guys when I was younger, as John was still climbing the ladder, it was Kerrigan, obviously.
Who was there? Murphy?
Yeah, it was Will. It was Josh Norman. One of the guys who had great presence in the locker room when I was a young player was Will Blackman. Mm-hmm. He was a Boston College guy, Northeast guy. Let's see who else.
Northeast guys stick together.
Yeah,
We kind of have our
they're
own.
gritty.
It's kind of their own same direction type thing. You can like see the Midwest guys, and they kind of come into it every once in a while, and then the SEC is their own world. LSU is their own world. It's unique in the league, though. Just like same player, same place, no matter where you go. And 99.9% of the guys are great guys in the league. That's my one experience with it. I think a lot of people in the outside world don't understand that because they see a lot of things, but that's like one or two players, not the whole league.
Sure.
The league's full of great
Yeah,
dudes.
we're all just, everyone,
Yeah.
it's been said before, this is not an original idea, but we're all just like people. We all,
Yeah.
like you didn't grow up a pro, you know what I mean? We
No.
all had similar upbringings and
No doubt about it.
circumstances.
So take us back to, you're from Jersey. Is it Flemington?
Mm-hmm.
Flemington area?
Yep.
The only reason I know Flemington, Jersey is I grew up playing basketball tournaments there all the time. So you're from Flemington, got recruited. Who recruited you? What schools recruited you? Why Temple?
Wasn't heavily recruited, didn't come from a big football area, so Temple was my first offer. Once you get your first offer, they kind of just start acquiring a couple more. It was really mainly MAC schools. Temple was MAC going into the Big East, so I thought, okay, this is my biggest offer at the time. Got a couple 1AAs. I didn't watch a ton of college football growing up. Didn't really understand the recruiting process. Didn't understand the different conferences, and so it really came down to Temple and UDEL, despite having other 1A offers. And I was like, well, because UDEL was a nice school, like
Close to home.
they did it, yeah, close to home. They did a good job recruiting. I joked, I said, since coming here, I might have come here. This is an
Wofford?
unbelievable campus.
Yeah, we're in the Richardson Media Building here, our Performing Arts Building. Place is unbelievable. Our dorms
Seriously.
are great. Like for going away camp, you can't beat it. Do you guys
No.
go away in Washington?
We go to Richmond. Yeah. We don't. They didn't. Not like a college down there. They built a facility down there in Richmond.
Who, Washington?
Hmm. Well, I think they partnered with Washington,
Whatever.
the city of Richmond.
Yeah.
So they built a place. They're actually in Ashburn this year. This is the first year not doing it, but my 6 years we were there.
Oh, so you went away every year. So you don't even know the other side of it. The pros and cons. I remember like talking to Eli Manning when I was with the Giants, and I was asking Eli, I'm like, well, what do you like better? You like going away or you like staying home? Because we were at home in East Rutherford. We stayed there with the Giants during training camp for the couple weeks I was there before I had my appendix go. And he said there was pros and cons. He said back in the day, you'd play cards on the off day and no one could drive home because it was 4 or 5 hours away. They were in Albany, New York is where they used to go. So
The Giants used to go to Albany.
yeah. So it'd be like 3 hours away from, East Rutherford or 2 hours or whatever it is. I don't know. And they're like, well, it's not worth going home. We're just going to spend the night. So the guys would stay, have a couple pops, play some cards, and you can like hang out and, it's kind of nice hanging around.
Yeah.
And he said, but the other pro, then you get to home here, you get to go see your family, but you have to go see your family. There's no like negotiating. So, hey, it's the pros and cons of both. But
I get both sides of it. I get like kind of the mentality of like, okay, we're going to go away. We're going to build this thing cohesively. We're going to like bond as a team. We're going to grow together. But then like the other side of it in my mind is like, okay, well, at home, there's familiarity, right? Like big locker room, big training room, big weight room. Like you kind of have that familiar sense. Like everything's not better in a lot of, not better, but like,
yeah, you're comfortable with it.
right. And so my thing is like,
Plus they invest in that too.
yeah, that's been, and so my thing is like, okay, the beds are going to be better back home. Everything, it is generally better.
There's a slight bit of diversity here. This place is the least amount of diversity you'll have by going away.
No, this is about as good as it gets.
Yeah.
And so, like, the new school, like, of thought that I have is like, well, shoot, let's be really good at being at home. Like, we want to win 8-9 games at home, right? Like, let's be home. So I get both sides of it, I really do.
Yeah. Oh, it's unique. It really is. Jay, what do you got for him, brother?
Madden ratings. We were talking about to Zylstra a little bit before this.
Matt's got a good rating.
He does. Did you know you're the 7th highest rated D lineman in strength?
He knows.
I know that. Yeah, I know that. I don't play any Madden, but just I don't spend much time on social media. But some things just
People send it to you.
yeah.
In some group text you got.
Some things just pierce the bubble. Like you just can't keep them out. Yeah. Like a few years ago when I had my like breakout season, coming off my extension, I was like, I guess I was like number 2 or something, and then I've been slowly
gotten weaker and weaker.
I guess I've just been getting weaker and weaker. So I don't know if I'm just like grandfathered into that because you can't take a guy who was formerly number 2 off the list entirely. But
How much can you bench?
oh sheesh, I don't know. Typically in an off season, like we'll get to a point where we max out, but this year it just didn't work out with the way the schedule and the programming was. But yeah, I mean Jeremy runs a good program. There was a time when I was in, the mid to high 4s.
Oh yeah, easy for sure. I don't want to say like that's common because that's not where I'm anywhere near that. But my point is like, yeah, for a defensive lineman in the NFL.
Yeah, it's more common than you'd think.
Yeah. Well, in the NFL. In the
NFL,
yeah. Not everyone's going to the gym benching fours. Yeah,
Yeah, so like most water, I think BPA, what it does is it makes plastics and metals more malleable, more bendable. I think, don't quote me on it, but it mimics estrogen in your body, and so obviously you don't want that if you're trying to maximize like explosiveness, peak performance, and stuff like that as a male athlete. And so another thing is like EMF. So like I have an EMF case on my phone, or I had one. It's called like the Defender Shield, and it was just super bulky and kind of just in the way. And so I found these. They're like EMF neutralizers. It said put 2 on your phone. I don't know if it works. I don't have one of those like wands that can like detect radiation or whatever. But something about the phone, like it was designed without a case. Like it just looks like sleek without a case. I was like, well,
it's just a gutsy move with no case.
It sure is.
Justin, you play with fire with no case?
No, I have screen protector and case because I drop my phone all the time.
Yeah, so do I.
Well, hasn't Apple gotten better about like the glass that they use on their phones? So like I've broken my phone.
So you can buy more. I think that has to be it, right? Like that has to be it. Because at the end of the day, like there's things that are waterproof now. Like if that thing really wanted to be waterproof, they could easily do that.
Well, I think it's water resistant up to like 2 feet, right? So like your standard like pool experience, like in the low end or whatever. But
what the world, 2022, we should be able to dip that thing in a pool, play music underwater, throw it against the wall, and have no problems.
Well, I mean, if G-Shock can make their watches like virtually indestructible. Well, I think what happened was, like I think Apple has upgraded the glass on the front of their phone because I don't think they break nearly as much as they used to. And I think also Samsung's like never broken. They're like, well, if Samsung can do it, why can't we? And so I think like from a competitive standpoint, they had to finally like get with the times. But it probably was making them money. Like putting cheap glass in the phone, it breaks. Well, why don't you just buy a new phone?
Or you have to buy the insurance, and they own the insurance company that insures
Yes.
the phone. Jay, get us back on the rails here. What do you have for Matt? Or I can go with Matt here. My question for you, Matt, too, is there's some players you played against that are really, really good. There's some players who you play with that are really good. We've talked about Allen. We've talked about a lot of guys in the league. And we've had Bradley Bozeman on, and he's probably going to have a similar answer that you have because he talked about playing against Mr. Allen in practice every day when he was in, in obviously Alabama. But who's the best player you had played with and the best player you had played against?
Shoot. Yeah, I mean, Washington was one of the most talented, like, throughout my years there, had some of the most incredible talent. Like, Trent Williams, longtime
Beast.
now commander, best tackle in football, I think, probably ever. I mean, he's just a stud. He just came in, like, top 6 on the, whatever it was, like, number 6 in the NFL 100 as a tackle. Like, the guy is phenomenal. I played with Kirk, played with Alex, played with
Sheriff?
Yep. Played with John. Played with Josh Norman. Played with Preston Smith. Like, a lot of guys who have recorded a lot of sacks,
Chase Young.
interceptions, stats. Chase Young. Like, there's a ton of talent there. I know that's every team, but I can only speak to my experience. And so, like, playing against, though, because I do have a bias with the guys I've played with, but playing teams I've played against, maybe a little more objectively, like, I think the NFC for a long time had a tremendous, like, guard market. In Philly, Brandon Brooks is one of the best guards I ever played against.
What makes him so good?
Man, he was really big and strong and had great feet and had this set that was like, it was like welcoming up the field. And the second you took the cheese, he was just going to wash you. Like, he was a really good guard. Recently retired. Congratulations to him on a good career, great career. And then Zach Martin in Dallas, Brandon Sheriff, who's with the Jags now. Like,
Washington, yep.
I mean, those are 1, 2, and 3 in no specific order, but those are 1, 2, 3 in my book for a time in the
No doubt
NFL.
about it. Do you ever play Kyle Long? Play against Kyle Long? He played. He played guard.
Yep.
He was a little beat up though for a lot of that time. Chicago.
So I played against Kyle closer to the back end of his career, and he was obviously
He's a moose.
he was a premier guard for a long time.
Yeah, he was. He's a moose. I was curious if we played against Kyle. Kyle's been on the pod. He's a buddy. He's an absolute just character.
I spoke to him before we played that game. I think he actually ended up marrying a girl from my high school.
There you go. That makes sense because when I was in Chicago, he's like, "Hey, Toppy, I'm dating this girl from Jersey. I'm going to the shore this weekend. Have you been there?" I'm like, I
you
live
been
there. He's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah, I live in Cape May." He's like, "Oh man, I'll be up in, I think she has a place up north somewhere. I don't know, Spring Lake, somewhere up, near Belmar area." But yeah, he's a character.
Yeah, he was great. Like, we spoke before and after the game. Like, that's one of the guys you can tell. Just like the game transcends for him. Like,
No
he's
doubt.
a big like relationship guy. Like,
I'm all about that, as you know. That's why we're here. That's why I have the pod. But
one of the first episodes of Will's podcast, they had like Andrew Schultz on or something, like one big guest, and the bus doesn't actually drive. Like, the bus,
yeah, and that's
I don't even think it has an engine block in
They
it.
talk about it. There's no engine.
But the bus was outside, or I think the bus wasn't even stored yet. And so I think it was outside in the summer, in the heat, no AC on the bus. So they were just doing this hot-ass podcast. And they were just in this bus sweating. I think now the bus is stored in a big warehouse that's like...
It is, yeah.
AC.
They're gonna pimp that thing out.
One
I'm
of the-
surprised you haven't been called down to come on the bus yet.
Early on, I was supposed to, and I just got cold feet about it. Like, I just...
But you
this
would
is-
now, though.
Well, this is not my wheelhouse. Doing podcasts, digital footprint, all that stuff. Like,
Yeah, but I think you had good stuff.
I want to be the guy that, like, when football's done, they'll be like, "Hey, who was that detail who used to play in Washington, Carolina? What's his name?" I don't know. Like,
You want to be that guy?
I just want to fade into oblivion.
Do you?
Yeah.
I was going to ask about Heineke Magic, though, up close and personal. We had him on the podcast. I don't think it's out yet.
No, but it will be.
It will be.
We play them in a preseason game. It's coming out. Heineke came on. He was great. Full hour.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, how
He's
long
a
did
great
you think?
cat.
In 20, 30 minutes? Like, perfect. We went for an hour. I think it was an hour. It was great.
Did you go up there?
No, but I'm going to get him on. I want to do it in person one for sure.
Oh, okay. Did Zoom?
Yeah, we did Zoom. Most of the stuff we do is on Zoom Because guys are all over the place.
Yeah, this is nice being all here.
Oh, this is great. Having the guys come down and do this and just chop it up sitting here. What about Heineke Magic, though?
What was your like when you heard the story and getting to meet him and obviously what he did in the playoff game? Like, what did you first think about him, and then what do you like him out as a person now?
I'm probably not the best one to speak on that, only because I was on IR the year that he came in and played against the Bucks and Tom Brady in the playoff game and like went toe to toe with Tom. But the following year, obviously, last year we got to know each other and played more together. And he's a good cat. I mean, like, it's a crazy story. I think that guy was on the street. I think he was going back to college at the time and was just like working on getting his degree. And all of a sudden,
Crazy, man.
you got to tell all his professors, like, hey, I'm going to play in a playoff game. It's like, really?
Wait, that's the story for him for the Bucks?
Yeah, he had to like write his professors emails to like say, hey, I can't do finals this week or whatever because going back to the league.
Right, and not just going back to the league. Like, I think he was there the final week of the season and then the playoff game. So it's like he came in at like a crucial time. It's like finishing your finals or going to play in the playoffs.
And then he ran around and just no problem. Should we get it back to the Madden rating, though? To the bench story? Or should we move to Carolina? What do you think, Jay?
I don't think we have enough battery for to go back. I think we should probably
Pile forward. Yeah, we've
Yeah.
had some technical difficulties. Appreciate everybody tuning in. It's been fun, and that's all my end. I gotta be better. Not for long media. I gotta be better.
We're all in the midst of camp, even the media guys.
Yes, the camp guys. Exactly. This is camp number what for you?
7.
Any good camp stories you can tell? Think.
First camp here, but going back to Washington my rookie year, we had some phenomenal talent shows. We weren't mandated to sing only. We could do a variety of things. We had a cat from Oklahoma who brought in a uke and sang a John Legend song. That was crazy.
A part of the rookie lineage in the NFL, folks. You need to sing. You need to perform in front of the team, in front of the organization, and let them know that you can. It's not hazing. It's not this. It's just a talent show. The rookies go up and let it rip and have a great time.
Yeah.
And I've seen some really bad ones over the years. I've seen some really good ones over the years.
Yeah, I hate the the stance of like just go up there, sing, get booed, and be done with. Like, part of it is like you're breaking up the day, like you're breaking up like the grind for us. Like, it gives everyone a chance to like relax and like have a good laugh and like forget about like how sore your body is for a second and forget about like how much stress we're all under. And so like I take the stance of like, hey, sell out, like go all out, make it good, make it worth it, like, give us your best shot. Like, don't just go up there and get booed. Like, earn your stripes in this league.
What did you sing?
I didn't sing. I did a skit. I did an impersonation of our director of operations. He has like a unique voice and a unique like personality, and so I went up there and just like over exaggerated and like embellished all those things, and yeah, I'd like to think I did well. I got some applause.
I love it. Well, good. We had Matt on. It's great to have Matt on. Short, sweet, having fun,
that's
chopping
great.
it up. Matt Ioannidis, new Carolina Panther. Appreciate you joining us, man.
Yeah, appreciate you guys having me.